Knowledge, it ain't free. You gotta pay attention to Pass the Wire TV.
To Pass the Wire TV, your number one source for horse racing news and interviews, handicapping analysis, betting insights, and more. Pass the Wire TV covers the biggest races at the best tracks.
Garnet and Luis Saez to win the Belmont Stakes at Saratoga.
The Grey Wizard is absolutely flying. Champagne won. The Grey Wizard. Oh, it's very close. Leave it to the judge.
Like, share, and subscribe to Pass the Wire TV. Nobody does it better.
Hey, Sure Bet Coffee. Put that giddy up in your cup. That giddy up in your cup. Sure Bet Coffee.
Enter the world of Kingdom Nutrition, your number one source for healthy horses and fast finishes. Make sure your horses stay strong and healthy with the balanced mineral profile of Healthy Bones. This veterinarian recommended supplement helps foals, weanlings, and yearlings grow and develop. Healthy Bones also helps speed up recovery so your horses can stay in training longer and race more often. Plus, Appetite, the amazing product for your horses. Is your horse a poor eater? Does he dunk his grain in his water bucket? Do you believe he may have ulcers? Are you tired of paying for expensive drugs which offer only temporary relief? Why not try Appetite, the amazing product which is 100% all natural, produced by nature? Appetite contains more than 300 herbs, grasses, and wildflowers to help your horses look and feel amazing. Your cost for a 1-month supply is only $99. It comes with an unconditional money-back guarantee if you're not 100% satisfied with the results. Call Justin at Kingdom Nutrition today.
Tracking trips at Pass the Wire. There is no better time than now to join and ride with this clan. We'll be your second set of expert trained eyes. We ain't gonna buy you a fish. Sure, we'll give you some, but more importantly, we'll show you how to fish and make you a better better. CAWs, sharks in the water, no problem. We'll go against anybody, and we have the track record to prove it. Big days, big pools, and select days all year long. We'll outplay them all. Looking for an ace? You're in the right place. Want to find that diamond? Be with us. Want to know more? Just ask a member or visit us at passthewire.com and check out the Tracking Trips page. Nobody does it better.
You're watching Pass the Wire TV.
Hey, what do you say, everybody? Geo Sette with Pass the Wire TV. As always, delighted that you're joining me here. And I'm excited about talking about the subject of the night, something that I fully embrace as a handicapper, and I've had I say this with a lot of pride, a significant amount of success in my efforts with. We're going to talk about triples and superfectas. Now, if you're old school like me, I can't say trifecta, I got to say triple. And the superfecta obviously is a wagering opportunity that always gives we the players an opportunity for a big score. Now let's talk a little bit of history going back in the day. Years ago, there was only one triple. It was in the last race of the day on the Naira circuit at Aqueduct of Belmont, Saratoga. So you had a 9th race triple, and you had to spend the $2 minimum. There was no dollar, there was no 50 cents. And in terms of superfectas, much of the same. It didn't exist for a while, and then, you had to spend the premium, and then they cut it down which is going to be a good portion of our conversation tonight in terms of the availability in increments of a dime all the way up to the dollar, because it positions you to cover an opportunity based on the degree of your capital, okay? Because obviously we're all built differently. So let's start off with the foundation, and then I'm going to give you some numbers. So what I would advise is, this is a good show to get your pen ready, jot down stuff, because basically I'm going to go over the costs associated with certain bets. And yeah, you could go onto your betting app and you could play around with it. You have that opportunity in a given race to see what the ticket cost would be. But I want to share a lot of things tonight with a purpose, so you understand how my approach is, okay? So, oh, by the way, someone had asked me in a private message, I'm sure most of you could be familiar if you look closely at, but the picture over my shoulder on the wall, that's none other than my favorite racehorse of all time, that's Cigar. Going back to the 90s. By the way, I don't even have to say another word. I have an article that I wrote, a tribute to Cigar, on PassTheWire.com. Just go on to Pass the Wire and go into the archives and put Geo Sette Cigar. I wrote it earlier in the year, this year. I think you'll get a kick out of it. But anyway, that's an actual painting by a real sharp artist here in New Jersey. And it was done in 2006. That's Jerry Bailey over on Cigar. And I was fortunate to make a donation at a golf outing. It was for somebody, unfortunately, who was lost in the war in Afghanistan. And they had like a big benefit for him at the golf outing. And we all made donations. And I won the raffle for this, which is, I've been joyous since I have it. It's a prized possession. Anyway, triples and superfectas. Exciting stuff. Let's start with the foundation. It all starts with the completed handicap. Now, for me, the language is my precise order handicap. And by the way, my deep dive precise 6 or precise 7 is most pronounced for these specific wagers. They help out in all the opportunities that we have at the racetrack. Everything down the line. But from a triple or a superfecta perspective, it puts me in a position where I've done the work. Remember what I said on the previous show? By the way, the previous show that was just published yesterday is my preparation, the precise handicap preparation. So if you're seeing this tonight and you haven't seen that, I would highly recommend you go and watch that. You won't be bored, maybe somewhat, but if you're in my corner, you won't be bored. But tonight, you definitely won't be bored, because this is even more intriguing, because, where's my water? Well, finish. Hold on. This is even more intriguing because it affects our everyday full card wagering. So it starts with the handicap. Now, one of the things I emphasized in my prior show, okay, if I have a deep field, say 11 or 12 horses, on the dirt or on the turf, allowance, claimer, maiden special, or even into the listed stakes or graded stakes. Obviously, I always share this. Graded stakes always carry a greater level of emphasis because I like the purses and I like that other people are watching, and I like to step up and crush a stakes race. And, if you're an avid viewer of Pass the Wire TV, you know the successes that we collectively have had on Pass the Wire TV and at PassTheWire.com. Now, what's really cool, you complete your handicap. So I'm going to start off with the big fields, and I'm going to start with triples, and I'm going to move on to superfectas. First of all, the foundation of triple wagering these days, they are more accommodating to the average bettor or the individual who has all of his responsibilities and he has some discretionary monies to bet on the weekend. So it's a matter of managing your available capital. But triples, and we're going to get into Superfectas, triples is definitely a bet that's got to be in your arsenal. Now, the reason why I'm talking about it's more accommodating these days for you guys is that we have the 50-cent triple throughout the country, every major racetrack. And in Canada, Woodbine specifically, I like Woodbine racing, you know, the synthetic and the turf. Woodbine has a 20-cent mutual. So 20-cent mutual at Woodbine, minimum, and 50-cent mutual basically everywhere in the country. I believe some tracks that I don't play, the triple is $1 minimum. They made some changes recently. So if you know that for a fact that you play, you could comment on that. But it's definitely either 50 cents or $1. Now, the beautiful thing about this, okay, and I put some numbers down because I want to make sure I covered it, all right? And I have had, and like I said, at the end of this show, one of the things I'll share, if anybody had any questions, I have a lot of my archives on specific bets I've made where I crushed it for a very insignificant amount bet with a great payback to me. Significant low risk, high reward. And that comes with hard work because this is not a guessing game. It's no guessing game. So if I have an 11 horse field and I go through every step of my specific handicapping, and we don't need to go over that. You know from prior shows what I cover. So all in, I've covered everything. And remember, one thing about racing, there are so many specific intangibles and contributing factors, and we all know this. One of the things John, my partner, I have a lot of respect for, he'll tell you, and it's the truth, we're going to lose more often than we win only because of the variables that we're faced with. We've all lost horrible bad beat photos. You have the right horse, but he's blocked, steadied, brakes bad, all those unnecessary circumstances that happen during races. It's an unfair game. However, with great preparation, you're certainly positioning yourself for greater success. And what I do, remember what I said in my prior show? The morning line does not distract me because I start my handicap. There is no morning line. I'm the morning line. Okay? So much of triple and superfecta wagering has to do with what you see on the board according to your finalized handicap. Now, I'm speaking regard. If you're a handicapper and you take pride in what you do, then you have your finalized handicap. Or if you're looking towards Geo Sette for my precise order, and I'm giving you a line of 6 precise, or even a deeper field, if I have another horse, we'll have to consider 7 precise. We're still talking about deep fields. If I have provided that, I have mathematically eliminated others. So those others, for example, 5 horses in an 11 horse field, I do not have to consider, regardless of their odds on the board. I made a stringent decision that they will not be used on my tickets, on any tickets. But my deeper dive and my precise, especially, now it could be my top choice, it could be my second choice, it could be my third choice. I made examples of that in my other show. But if it's my 4th, 5th, or 6th choice in my line, and I'm getting a significant overlay on the board, case in point, I have a 6 horse precise order handicap. 4 of my 6 are on the board at double-digit odds. Even more significant if 4 of the 6 are over 20 to 1 or 30 to 1. The more significant or the greater the overlay, according to me, I want that. I want the horses that I've thrown out to be the public choices. You know, we all want that. And now conversely, if I like horses that are going to be well backed at the window, then it's a big adjustment to my triple and my superfecta wagering. So I don't want to get too far from myself. Let's talk about, I talked to you about the 20 cent in Woodbine, which is the minimum, and that's how their mutuals are paid. So there's 20, 40, 60, 80 to $1. And in all the major tracks, most of them, with a few exceptions where it's $1, you have 50 cents. So if you're playing a 50-cent mutual triple, you're managing your capital in terms of if you're going to work. Now, one of the things I always share, now how I say I never let a quality handicap go uncashed. If I have a 10 or 11 race card, the reason why I'm going to be engaged in the process, if I've completed my handicap on every race, because yes, I'm going to make stronger plays, but I'm not going to make 4 plays on a card, 4 races, and leave the other 7 with no action. And out of those 7 races, I slayed 3 or 4 of them, and I make no money for my efforts. I'm not going to let that happen. So what I do minimally, like I said, we're all different in terms of what we have available. I'm at a point where I don't need to use the change option. I'll tell you when I do use the 50 cent. So at a minimum, I'm playing a $1 triple straight, my top 3 cold. And then I'm going to take a $1 triple with my first, second, and then my 4th horse. It starts with that, $2. Because if I'm right, I want to get paid. So, but if the board is indicating, and this is really important, it's more so important with superfectas, but I'm going to talk triples first. If I make 6 horses who I feel are the best, most imposing horses in the race, and obviously my top choice, I may have them listed at a 70% chance of emerging victorious, and my second 15%, my third 10. So now I only have a small percentage of my bottom horses that could win. But essentially important, if they're up on the board, remember, it's not seeing who the long shots are. You don't do that. You go with, now there's 2 ways of doing it. You either go with your handicap and stand by it, or if you're one of those guys or gals that just doesn't have the time to put through a thorough handicap and you need some guidance from somebody like myself, then yeah, if you have access to my full precise order, then that's what you work with. And you know what? I know you're going to be in a better position to win and win consistently with that. Sure, are there so many other contributing factors that bother us as players? The bad beats, the bad trips, being steadied, being blocked, breaking bad, having collisions, bad rides. Those things are going to happen. Those are the nuances of the game that we're so attracted to and we stay engaged in. Remember, if you've got a 1.16 race, 8.5 furlongs, and your top 4 in your handicap are all on a wire together, and you lose and tear up all your tickets, you didn't do anything wrong. You actually were brilliant in your handicap. It just didn't work out for you. Okay, I'm talking about 4 horses on the wire together. Out of an 11-horse field, you're doing everything right. And we're going to get into how you could recover from some of that. All right, so with triples, all right, now here's where you're going to need to take down some numbers, all right? Excuse me. If you have your winner over 3, you need to hit 2 of the 3. If you have your winner over 4 horses, remember, in your precise order, then you need to win. And we're talking about a key here, because we're already covered straight cold. Okay? This is my winner, and then the horses that follow in my handicap. Especially important if the odds are convenient for you on the board. Because obviously, if it's a race that's an 11-horse field and your handicap comes up and you have a 7-5, a 9-5, a 3-1, a 5-2, and a 4-1, it changes the philosophy of the race because you're not going to have a big ticket. So in a race like that, I may heighten my cold triple. Instead of going $1, I may do $5, which I've done and I've been successful at. Anyway, if you have your winner over 5, this is for $1. Okay? No, excuse me. We were talking 50 cents. If you have your winner over 5, you need 2 of the 5 underneath. And if you have your winner over 6, you need 2 over the 6. Now, when does the box come into play? Now, I'm a big believer in, it's not about, because you burn money in tickets. If you make a ticket and you go 3-7 all or 3-7 all on a superfecta, essentially you're burning dollars because you're covering horses you don't need to cover, especially if you trust your handicap. Now, with a box, I would never use a box if the odds aren't in my favor. However, 50-cent box, 3 for 3, all must be top three, $3. 3 out of 4 hitting the board in the money, $12. 3 out of 5, remember, 5 horses, 50 cents. 3 out of 5 on the board using 5 horses, it's $30. And of course, 3 for 6, only rare occasions. If you're going to entertain the box, you got to get 3 of the 6, and that's a $30 bet per 50 cents. So obviously, if it's 3, 12, 30, 60 on 50, if you're going to $1, just double it up, okay? Of course, Woodbine, nice track. Like I said, I've made a lot of big scores in Woodbine too. I don't play it all the time, but I like the synthetic. I know the barns, I know the riders, and I like the convenience. They give you a convenient triple opportunity because you could cover things for 20 cents, and especially if you have big numbers, it's accommodating. Now, sure, they screw you a bit, not screw you, but the Superfectas in Canada, there's no dime. It starts at 20. So it's 20, 40, 60, 80, $1, where most tracks, Superfectas start at a dime. And this is essentially important because, listen, guys, how often do you check out the results of the day and then you see that 10-cent Superfecta combination, whether it's at Saratoga, Keeneland, Oakland Park, Monmouth, Gulfstream, anywhere. If you see that 10-cent super, and the 10-cent super pays $895 because the dollar super paid $8,900. And then even more so, you get 10-cent supers that pay $2,000 because the full dollar super paid $20,000. But the reason why I entertain superfectas more than I entertain triples, because triples, I don't box often, and if I ever box, the odds have to be significantly in my favor, and that's when I'm not really strong with my top choice. But if I am 75% or better with my top choice, and my top choice could be 28-1, doesn't mean, you've seen it, guys. My precise order is how I cap it. They could be 20, 15, 20, 17. There could be no horses that are single digits in my handicap. Not sure. It doesn't happen often because when you do your work, the public has a pretty good idea of, who are the most likely winners in the race. And quite often, the top 3 or top 4 horses on the board become, with some measure, part of my handicap. And sometimes it's ice cold. Sometimes, it's an 11-horse field, and I couldn't pay. I'd still go 6, but my top 3 are 4-5, 7-5, and 4-1, because that's how I see the race, okay? Remember, I hope every one of you players should hope for an overlay based on your handicap, okay? Because you're playing against other people, and then you have the groups and the sharks out there, and the electronic wagering and things of that nature. But I don't let that sway me, okay? Because when I'm working with exotics like triples and superfectas, I am covering my handicap, and I'm gonna make a decision of how I bet the race based on the boards, the odds on the board, and I'm always gonna cover. Just the other day, guys, my handicap was 9-1-8. It was at Gulfstream. If you need to see the ticket, you've probably seen it. Just go onto Twitter. Proud to say this. I played a $5 triple straight. The odds with the 3 horses precise. The 9 was like 3-1. The 1 was like 5-2. I crushed the exacta. But in my heart and soul, I capped that race. I loved the 8 to run third. Yes, I felt he had a better chance of running third with his tactical speed than others did who were going to be further back. He demonstrated that to me. That 918 triple cold, all right? I got $1,100 and change for it, for a $5 bill. And I hit the Superfecta, which paid $1,400 on a dollar super key. And we're going to get into the Superfecta keys because I've had so many of them during the course of the year at different levels. I've hit 10-cent Superfecta keys, 20, 30, 40, 50. We're going to talk about where the box is used in Superfectas. I want to finish up with my triples. So with your triples, don't be afraid to succeed, all right? I had somebody, and obviously I'm not going to share his name. He likes to remain anonymous and, keep his business private, but he thanked me privately. He used my handicap, and I saved this right here. He went with, all right? Well, that's on a super. I'll say that it's not a triple, it's a Superfecta, but I'm going to tell you how somebody could really escalate their winning ticket for a monster score. And like I said, when I tell you that quick story, I'll tell you how delighted the guy was. So, do you understand what I'm saying in terms of triples? You got to know your bankroll. Now, if it's a grade 1 or grade 2, what I've done often, especially if it's a 7 or 8 horse field, let's cover that. Lower fields, I still eliminate. If it's a 6 or 7 horse field, I am still mathematically eliminating a couple from all my tickets. I don't believe, regardless of the odds. Then I'm going to race like that. If I have a very strong opinion, like I did, for example, Rattle and Roll at the Clark. I crushed him. I saw no other horse winning. I loved him. Go back to the show. Listen to what I had to say about Rattle and Roll. I had him to win. I crushed the exacta. I crushed the triple. I crushed my keys. And I had him going forward in my multi-race wagering. So if I love a horse, there's nobody I'm putting over him. It's just everybody under him. The triple key is a fun bet. Go with what you can afford. Remember, Woodbine, it starts with 20 cents, 20, 40, 60, 80, $1. And all over the country, with a few exceptions where you got to play $1 minimum, you could play 50 cents and measure that. Because if you're like me and you have a full card handicap, precise order, 10 races, I'm going to be playing 10 triples. Remember, if I didn't handicap a race, then I'm not betting a race. I have to complete my work, just like you have to complete your work. So if you're getting my information, trust me, on my kids, all right? I put my heart and soul and my passion into it. I am doing the work, and I'm coming with a conclusive decision as to how I rank everybody. And then I make adjustments based on the board. All right, let's go into Superfectas. I'm excited about this, all right? So like I said earlier, 10 cents everywhere. By the way, Woodbine, 20 cents. They don't have a dime at Woodbine. It's still 20. Kentucky Derby Day, they get you because you can only bet $1 super. On the undercard and in Derby, it's $1 super. No dimes on Derby Day. There's going to be $400 million wagered. They know they're going to get it. So even the recreational gamblers are playing their combos, their supers. Everything's $1. There's no 10, there's no 20 cents, there's no 60 cents. It starts with $1. Breeders' Cup, however, 10 cents. It was a good Breeders' Cup this past November. And yes, Mr. Sette hit some Superfectas. All right, let's talk about my approach in Superfectas. And it's arguably one of my favorite bets. So I have my precise order. I have that's my game plan. It's race 7, Saratoga, a mile and a 16th on a turf, or wherever you are. What I'm doing, okay, first thing I do, because I'm not going to bet the race in race 5, I'm waiting to race 7 to bet it. I want to see my horses over the track. Now, sure, other occasions, because I have prior obligations, like when Rattle and Roll won the clock, I made my Rattle and Roll win bet at 12 o'clock noon. The race didn't go off till 6 o'clock because it didn't matter to me. I wanted the best price, but I was going to crush him to win regardless. But if I'm engaged with the racing day, I'm at the track, I'm going race by race. So now I'm up to race 7, mile and a 16th on the turf. I check the opening odds. I know what the morning line is. I know who's an overlay and who's an underlay. I also know who I've eliminated from my wagering opportunities, okay? And I'm talking about eliminated in multi-race wagering, doubles, through and through. It's like they're scratched from the race to me. Now, sure, on occasion, big fields, I'm torn. I won't go 6 precise. I'll go 7 precise. And on a rare occasion, I'll go 8 precise. You know why? Because I saw an ingredient in race review that I believe other cappers didn't see. And if my horse is going to be 49-1, and he made my handicap, and he's my 6th, 7th choice, then that's my wild card that I'm going to use in my key, or maybe even in some other exotic wagering. So let's talk about cold first. My precise handicap, if that's what you're using, or if you do your handicap, I strongly recommend. Because if you nail 7-3-2-5 cold, you gotta have it for $1. The best feeling in the world. It's $1. You go to Dunkin' Donuts or somewhere, you're spending $4 on an iced coffee. It's $1. You cover your precise order first. Now, however, if you guys follow me, you'll know that I've had $5 Superfecta hits based on the odds on the board. I started with 5 and I nailed it. Now, like I said, yes, you can be more precise with who you feel is going to win and who's going to be, next in line, who's going to run second. There's so many, inconsistencies and circumstances that happen over the track that are unavoidable. But based on your specific handicap, you know who's going to be in the race early, who's going to be running fast, rallying late. And based on those factors, okay, and of course, many other factors, the barn, the jockey, what the odds are on the board, based on those circumstances, you have a good idea that if you have a hard hitter, a horse that's got some, the stones to compete, and he's proven in race review that he runs inside, he runs outside. I can give you a list of horses that I know from my experience that that's who they are. They fight, and they're competitive every time. So I just had one of those. The 2 horse at Gulfstream. I had now sure, he was my 3rd choice. He wasn't my 6th choice. But I was salivating that he was on the board at 44-1. I said to myself, A, what was wrong with the morning line maker? It's like I said, it didn't matter to me. All due respect to him. But I said to myself, Jesus Christ, this horse should be 15, 16, 17-1 in this field. And they're giving me 44. So I changed the way I bet. That's why I crushed the exacta too, several times. And exacta paid a big number in that race. Let's talk about the Superfectas. You played your cold top 4. Now remember, I'm going to talk about dollars here. But the fact that you could bet 10 cents, you could use in your mind and write these numbers down, that you could do a dime, which would be 1/10 the amount, or 20 cents, which would be 1/5 the amount, and so on. You do the math. You guys get it. So, keys. I love my horse on top. Especially love him if he's an overlay and he's 9-1 or 12-1 or 15. He's my top choice. I feel he's got an 80% chance to win the race. He's my key. Now, if I went 6 deep, this is essentially important. And trust me when I say this. If you're a follower of what I do in terms of my handicap, if you follow this, I promise you, obviously we can't win every race. I promise you, you're going to have some meaty scores because it's all going to work out because you have that ticketing. And you may even have it twice because you had that cold and you could hit it cold. I got 7-2-6-3, 8-9. It comes out 7-2-6-3. I cash my key and I cash my cold Superfecta. So here we go. A $1 wheel over only 3. All 3 must hit the board. All right? It's $6 on a dollar. A $1 Superfecta key over 4 horses where you must get 3 out of 4 underneath, that's $24. That happens to be my most frequent bet. Guys, gals, 2024, there's no exaggeration here. I mean, many folks, if you follow me on Twitter, Sette Better Days, I like to share tickets. I don't share every ticket, but I like to share certain tickets because I want you to believe that if you believe in your cap, it happens, and it happens often. I probably had a $1 super key over 4 horses where I needed 3 of the 4. It's a $24 bet. Pay over $1,000 7 to 10 times this year. And that's not counting the ones that pay higher or the ones that pay, what's wrong with getting one that pays $386? It's a $24 bet. Would you spend 24 to get 386? It's not difficult. It happens all the time. So that's $1 super key over the next 4. It's a $24 bet. You need 3 of the 4. Then you have a $1 super key over 5. It's a $60 bet. Or if you're betting dimes, it's not $60, it's $6. That's your top choice over the next 5, and you need 3 of the 5 to hit the board. Next in line, $1 over 6 horses. On $1, it's $120. For a dime, it's $12. But you got 6. You need 3 out of the 6 to be under your top choice. Variations, always available, 20 cents, 30 cents, 40 cents, 50 cents, and so on. Now, let me tell you a story. Remember, I began to tell it, but I knew it was a Superfecta story. Guy wrote to me, delighted. Good guy, young kids at home, loves racing. He just doesn't have the time. Listen, I work full-time, and I put full-time, that's 40 hours. I put more than 30 hours a week because my kids, I raised them. They're out of college. My son's 20 to 28. My daughter's 24. My daughter's a graduate of Duke. My son graduated college of Staten Island. But the family obligations that ate up a lot of my time no longer exist. So I could put 30 hours a week dedicated to race review and handicapping. Okay? That's what I do. That's what I love. I make money. All right? I don't always win. I have bad streaks. But you know something? The perseverance is inevitable if you dot your I's, cross your T's, manage your bankroll, and take advantage of opportunities, especially overlay opportunities. Believe in your work. Your opinion's more important than anything. Or if you're strapped for time, believe in my opinion, because if you do, you're going to have scores. I know it, because I'm just not going to shut off, because I put the time in every capacity of handicapping. So, the story I wanted to say, there was a $1,400 Superfecta. What the guy did, he believed. Instead of putting a $1 Superfecta key, he did it for $5. Now, that wasn't, $24. It was $120. But he was successful, and he got $1,400 5 times. Total bet, $120, collected, all cash, $7,000. That's how things can really build up for you. You just can't be afraid to succeed, and you got to I've done that, but I'll be honest with you, most of the time, I have my cold Superfecta as part of my precise order. But if I like my winner, and the odds on the board are telling me, Sette, this is a key race. I have the precise there. It's covered. If I hit that, I hit both. It's a key race because my top 6, in any order, I have 4 horses that are above 15 to 1. Odds are in my favor. I'm not going to do that as often as if my whole handicap, everybody's 6 to 5 up to 3 to 1. Then I'm going to go more precise, and I'm going to wait for an opportunity when the odds are in my favor. Remember, you bet against other people, pari-mutuel wagering. This is all about, decision-making, positioning yourself for scores. Now, the beauty about that, okay, let's talk about the box. If I have, and please, guys, you got to remember this, because I know every single one of you see this. It's at Turfway Park. It's at Oak Lawn. It's even at Saratoga. No matter where, Monmouth in New Jersey, which I've slayed so many times because I'm a Jersey Shore guy. If my handicap comes up, 6 horses, precise, my winner, I give like a 70% chance of winning next 10, the next 5, the next 5, next 3. But it's littered with big prices. I'm going to play my key and I'm going to play my colt. But I swear to you, at a minimum, yes, because it's not wasting money or wasting tickets. You are making an informed window decision. I take my 6 horses and I box it for 10 cents. That bet, my friends, is a $36 bet. So if I'm investing heavily in a race and I believe in my handicap, right? Or you believe in my handicap, or forget me, you believe in your handicap. If you went, this is what's so important about the precise order 6 deep. I know so many handicappers I got a lot of respect for, but they provide their best 3 or their best 4. I was watching a show at Gulfstream. You know, they have the crew at Gulfstream, Ron and Brian and the gal, I think she's very knowledgeable with racing. They give their top 4. But it ends there. No. I do the work. I need 6 to work with. I may only use my top 4 greatly, but those other 2, and it could be my second choice or my third, like I said yesterday on the show, on my preparation show, Society Man with Memorial. I love the horse. He wasn't my top choice, but he was right there. He was my third choice. Crushed the exacta, crushed everything. I missed the Super that night. I'm still sweating over it because that just was unfortunate because I eliminated others. I didn't do all. Listen, you got to have a lot of capital to press the all button. I trust my instincts, what I see with my eyes in race review. I can't go all. If I lose, if I got my precise 6 and I do a key and I got 2 on the board, I needed 3 underneath, and he loses by a neck or a head or a nose or he got blocked in a stretch, it's part of the nuances of the sport. I accept it. But I'm not going to donate extra monies of horses that I deem incapable of hitting the board. Now, how do I know that? All right? How do I know that? It's from experience. Yes, do I get screwed sometimes? Because I realize, and by the way, I take into effect the riders, the barns. How often do I talk about Luis Sayas? He digs down deep and he rides his horses to the wire. He doesn't ease up. We know the ones who ease up more often than not. So that comes into play in your decision making. Listen, you could tell that I'm very passionate about this. I'm working on Gulfstream Park's 11 races for this coming weekend. It's Tuesday night. I have more races to watch. I am doing my reconciliation of past performance numbers. I'm a buyer's guy. The reason why I became a buyer's guy, since it was available, is I know how to make the buyer's number work to my advantage. I know, because it's not golden, and some people believe in Ragazins or Brisnet or Thoroughgraph. I like Thoroughgraph, to be honest with you, but I'm not a subscriber all the time. I'm old school. I want the past performances of the DRF, and I like the buyers. I really do. Because let me tell you something. You can never ask a horse to do something that he's never done before. And when you have a full body of races, say 15 races, and a horse, filly or a colt, never got to a certain number before, it's sure they mature 2 into 3, 3 into 4 sometimes, but that you'll see in their workouts and other contributing factors. But if they've never demonstrated the type of speed that I need to see and see in the buyers, then I'm not going to use them. All right? Now, there are exceptions to the rule. Sometimes I play a full card and it's a $10,000 claiming race. Filly's going 7 furlongs and they take turns beating each other. One horse could have demonstrated a superior race 10 races back, and he comes back and he wins, or she comes back and she wins and pays a robust price. I put that into consideration, all right? I am passionate about what I do, and I'm hoping that you did take some notes. I'm going to end it on this note. We appreciate your viewership to Pass the Wire TV. Don't forget, Cigar. Go to PassTheWire.com. It was earlier in 24 this year. Geo Sette on the Legend of Cigar. Great, I'm not patting myself on the back. I just love the horse and everything that he accomplished, especially in his older years. And then, of course, he couldn't be a sire. He couldn't be a stallion because he was infertile. But check that out. Stay tuned for additional shows. Let me know what you think. Your comments are very important to me because that's telling me that there's engagement. If this didn't help you, fine, that's your choice. But trust me, all right? I was going to Aqueduct in 1978, 1979, all right? When Genuine Risk won the Kentucky Derby, I had a bunch of Italian people in my house, and I was glued to the TV. And then I'd watched a baseball game after that, because I played baseball for many, many years, hardball, till I was 40. But, nuts and bolts, I care. So like, subscribe, follow. If you have any questions personally, you could ask in the comments, or you could send me an email at focustotofinish@gmail.com. That's my personal email. I have a busy schedule, but I get to those who are already part of my distribution, that I write back to you, okay? Let's make some money. Let's get a score in before the end of the year, and then let's have a new way, a new level of optimism going into 2025. Remember, we're going to lose more often than we win because of those circumstances. But when you're smarter and you're detailed oriented and you work harder than other people and you put the time in, it's demonstrated in the success of your tickets. Okay? Why do you think I'm so into this? I make money. Do I have months where I get some bad beats and I'm on a downswing? But I believe in myself and I keep punching. What do I say? So take it in. Hope you took some notes. God bless you. God bless your families. Share some love. And I'll see you again real soon. Let's go.
Tracking trips that pass the wire, your second set of eyes in horse racing.
Solomini, a top 10 first crop sire in 2023, standing at McMahon of Saratoga. 14 first crop winners, including My Shady Lady, winner of the $500,000 New York Stallion Series 5th Avenue Stakes, Grade 2 winner, Winstock, and Stakes winner, Solo Shot. Solomini, the 7th leading freshman sire and the only top 10 freshman sire with a Grade 1 or Grade 2 winner. He sired a $700,000 two-year-old at the OBS April sale. His juveniles sold for nearly 6 figures on average, more than 12 times the stud fee. Solomini, a controversial DQ from being a Grade 1 winner by 2-time Horse of the Year Curlin, standing at McMahon of Saratoga Thoroughbreds.
They breed the best of the best and hope for the best.
Macoma broke well on the outside.
But you don't expect to get speed like this.
It is Macoma, the one to catch. Macoma has a 5-length lead in this Grade 1 corner. Outside, Macoma continues the battle on down at the rail. It is Macoma who's going to win the Met Mile.
Nobody does it better.